Well, I've already said that I'm willing to participate in any inquiry as an expert. I don't want to participate as a witness because I believe the testimonial role in this case should be served by journalists. I have never published a single secret document on my own because I believe the role of making those individual public interest determinations about what should be made public or not falls to reporters, to journalists, to institutions of the press. That is their role in society. So that's where I've been. I don't know if that will never change. It's not my intention. Uh, but we're missing independent experts in the process today. We have many lawyers who are talking about this. We have many activists who are willing and very expert in these issues on the human rights angle. But we have very few people who are willing to speak about how these intelligence operations actually work that aren't beholden to those intelligence agencies themselves. We've seen this, I think, in the German inquiry quite routinely, where intelligence officers on behalf of the German government say one thing, but documentary evidence says something completely different. We see this in the United Kingdom as well, where they say, we don't do mass surveillance. And then, of course, there's the story that was published just yesterday about their spy base that works in concert with the NSA, where it collects more than 300 million records in a 12-hour period. And that was like 5 years ago. So that number only increases with time. The US government will say we don't engage in economic espionage. The UK government will say everything that we do is overseen by law. We follow laws precisely. We don't break any rules. And every other member state in Europe says the same thing. But the private truths are increasingly divorced from the public claims of these officials. And we see this again in the kind of reporting. Now, I talked about the FISA court earlier, but this is a story that's gotten very little discussion in Europe about how the UK, the GCHQ, the British version of the NSA, specifically hacked Belgium's national telecommunications company. When you guys are making a phone call, the NSA and the British hear about it, even though they had lawful mechanisms for requesting this same information. They believed it was too cumbersome. So they thought it would be easier simply to violate the sovereignty of their partners, violate the laws, not only of their partners, but of every national or international law, because it was more effective. And this is a seductive idea that effectiveness equals propriety. But we have to focus on the fact that just because we can do something does not mean that we should. In the United States, of course, we say that we don't spy for economic purposes. We say that we don't spy on American citizens at all without a warrant. But there was a story in the New York Times published on the basis of the NSA's own documents that showed the NSA and its partners were spying on American lawyers that were representing, I believe it was Indonesia in this case, in trade negotiations. They weren't doing this because it would save lives. They weren't doing this because it would prevent an act of terrorism. They did it because they wanted a better price on a trade deal about shrimp and clove cigarettes. If we are willing to sacrifice sort of the lawfulness of our societies, of our international system, for a better price on shrimp and clove cigarettes, how meaningful are our laws? And how strongly entrenched are our rights?